I wear this hat because remember when it was Head and Shoulders? Now it's Mop and Glow. Can you get 3 religious women to use the S word? And it's when the 4th one says bingo. So he was way ahead of his time, was George Burns. And someone asked him, what's it like to make love at age 90? And George said, it's kind of like shooting pool with a rope. and then his, what? And then he was asked by his doctor, who caught him out about town, George, we have seen you with some very young women. Aren't you afraid of death? And his response was, if she dies, she dies. But the couple of things that I wrote down about Red Skelton, or the highlights, was he made fun of his wife all the time. Most of the comedians do, and vice versa. The females make fun of the husbands. But he said one night, he said, the secret of a good marriage is going out to dinner. We used to go out to dinner Tuesdays and Thursday nights. I went Tuesdays, she went Thursdays. And then he went on to say, you know, and we had a wonderful arrangement about beds too. We finally got to the stage where we decided that maybe we should go in separate beds. So he said, I was in Chicago, and she was in New York. He had one joke that came to mind was, he had a joke about, what was his name, Michelangelo. Sitting on, I can't even conceive this, but 4 years on your back painting the Sistine Chapel. It's true story. And his line was, and it was my favorite one, the Pope was there towards the end, and he said, you know, we want a second coat. You remember the Seagulls? Gertrude and Heathcliff. He did a segment one time I thought was amusing. Gertrude came back to the nest, they're seagulls, came back to the nest totally naked. And of course he says, what happened? She says, well, I got a little too low during a badminton game. So, Groucho Marx, another legend. Groucho Marx had, back in the 50s, he was making $12,000 a week during the show called, what was it, You Bet Your Life? Yeah, was it in the 50s? I remember some of the shows, and he used to interview these people, and sometimes he got censored a couple of times, but they let it go through. And I always remember the one where he's talking to this woman, and she had 10 children. And he said to her in a straight face, what would make you have 10 children? She goes, I just love kids. And he's sitting there with us. He says, oh, I love my cigar, but I take it out of my mouth once in a while. And they didn't cut it. They didn't. He got a slap on the face for that. Nair. Is it still out there? Well, it's what? Yeah. Nair is a product that removes hair. Good name for it. So anyway, this woman has a problem with her schnauzer, so she took it to the vet, and he said to the vet, he's just not hearing out of his ears. And the vet took a good look at it, and he said, here, take this Nair and throw it around the ear about once a day until all that hair is gone, and it worked. So she said, where do I get this product? Well, she went out to the pharmacist, and the pharmacist says, yeah, we've got Nair. And she said, well, I'd like to get some. He goes, I'll tell you right now, if you put that on your underarm, you're going to itch for about a week. She goes, okay, but I wasn't going to do that. Well, I'll tell you right now, if you put that product on your leg, you're going to itch for a week. He says, it's not for my leg. He says, what's it for? He said, it's for my schnauzer. And he says, well, if you put that, you won't be riding a bicycle for a week. This is one of my favorites because I was brought up in a Baptist family. And the Protestant ministers of the villages got together for a retreat. The retreat was how we could improve our lives personally and how we could help our parishioners. So off they went to the retreat, and it was a group about this size, and they broke up into little focus groups. And the Lutheran got up first, and he said, I'm going to be honest, I still have all the Playboys I had when I was in high school. It's very difficult for me to get rid of those things. Well, that was nice of you to share that. And the other guy got up, the Presbyterian, and he said, I eat 2 or 3 big bacon cheeseburgers sometimes at midnight. I'm a glutton. And then the Methodist guy got up and he said, I've got a problem with drinking wine. I drink a lot of wine and I have to work on it. And then the Baptist one got up and he said, my problem is I'm a compulsive gossiper. And I can't wait to get back to the villages. 50th anniversary. Some of you, I don't think, are quite at that age yet. Maybe anybody here with 50 or more years? Wow. Kidding? Wow. It's amazing. So this guy planned this beautiful trip. He planned this trip to go overseas, take her to Spain, take her to France. Just really, just went all out. And it was a beautiful 50th anniversary. And then the guy next to him goes, well, what are you going to do to top that? He goes, oh, I'm going to go back and get her. And he came into the dental chair with headphones on. And he said, I can't work on you with the headphones. She goes, well, I can't take them off, I'll die. So finally he just wraps them, puts them on the table, and she just slinks down, and she died. He picked them up and said, breathe in, breathe out. Another dentist joke I had was this, we all have this anxiety before we get there about what's going to happen in that dental chair, whether they got the high-speed drills or not, whether they're going to apply the sedative to us right. And this one woman walked in there and she said, I would much rather have a baby than come to your office. And he said, well, make up your mind, I'm going to have to adjust the chair. If you know of anybody that's under 30, they know high tech. You give your phone to someone, and they go, did you know? And someone told me, you got my phone. He said, did you know I could tell you what that airplane is overhead? And where it came from, and where it's, I mean, can you imagine? These kids, the kids know it. They know how to do videos. When I was up there and she was showing off, they'd go underwater with their cameras. It's amazing, these two young people. So the phone rang, and the girl goes, hello? Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead. Little tiny speaker in the finger. Well, everybody's shaking their heads. This is all this high-tech stuff. Then another phone rings, and the other girl picks it up, and she doesn't even have to do that. She has something in her eye tooth where she can talk. So meanwhile, our age group, we're sitting at this going, well, I'll show her. So she goes into the ladies' room, and out she comes with 5 feet of toilet paper running out, and I'm laughing. And she says, what are you laughing at? I'm getting a fax. Ernst Angley was a television evangelist, and he really got going sometimes. It was fun to watch him. I mean, I enjoyed watching him because And he was a healer, or at least he claimed to be a healer. So he's going to town, and the senior citizen couples are watching them, and he says, Ernest Angley says to the television, "Look at me. What's ailing you? Do you really believe? Come to the television, put your hand on the television." Meanwhile, the guy, the older guy, goes, "You're not serious, are you? You're going to do that?" He goes, "Hey, can't hurt any. I have a heart problem. Come to the television, put your hand on the television and pray with me." So she does it. So the guy says, "Well, can't hurt any. You know, I've had a pulled groin." So he stands there like this, with his hand on the television, and she turns to him and she said, "You know, he said he could heal body parts, not raise the dead."